The sky above the alien world was dark, but not because of night. Strange shadows moved through the clouds. On this distant planet, called Zelvar, the aliens were nervous. They had never seen anything like this before. The stars seemed to flicker, oddly, and the sensors on their big towers showed something strange moving closer. The alien leaders gathered in the Great Hall. Their voices were low but tense. "What is this? What is coming toward us?" asked High Commander Velnor, his eyes sharp. The others looked worried. They had heard rumors, but no one knew for sure. A young scout named Lyra stood quietly near the wall. She had just returned from the outer borders of their world. "I saw something," she said softly. "A huge warship. It is not like anything. We know. It is big and it shines like a star." The hall grew silent. No one moved for a long time. Then a loud voice broke the silence. "A human warship," said Elder Rethar. "The stories are true. Humans have ships like that. They are dangerous." Many aliens whispered among themselves. The humans were a mystery to most of them. Some thought humans were just another species trying to survive. Others feared they were powerful warriors ready to destroy anyone who got in their way. Outside, the skies grew darker. The strange ship was closer now. The sensors showed a slow but steady approach. The aliens watched with fear and curiosity. They had never faced a threat like this. Lyra was chosen to go back and report what she saw. She prepared her small ship quickly. The other scouts wished her luck, but no one expected her to return safely. As Lyra flew toward the unknown ship, her heart beat fast. The ship was huge, larger than any warship she had seen or heard about. It was black and silver with lights blinking all over it. It made a low humming sound that felt like thunder in her chest. She tried to scan the ship with her instruments, but the technology was too advanced. The warship sent a wave of energy that blocked all scans. Lyra's ship shook, and she had to work hard to keep control. Back on Zelvar, the leaders debated what to do. Some wanted to send soldiers to attack the human ship before it came closer. Others wanted to send diplomats to try to talk first. Fear filled the room, but so did hope. Maybe humans were not enemies. Suddenly, the sensors picked up movement. Smaller ships were launching from the human warship. They were fast and armed. They flew toward Zelvar's outer defenses. The alarms sounded loudly. The aliens rushed to their battle stations. The sky filled with blinking lights from their defense weapons. The humans did not attack directly, but their presence was a clear warning. Lyra's voice came over the communication channels. "The warship is sending a message. I don't understand the language, but it feels like a warning. We must prepare." The alien leaders agreed. They sent messengers to all parts of their world. The people had to be ready for anything. As night fell, on Zelvar the warship stayed close. Its massive form hovered above the planet like a dark shadow. The fear in the alien world grew stronger with every passing hour. In the distant stars, the humans watched quietly. Their captain stood on the bridge, calm and steady. He knew the humans had power, but he also knew the galaxy was full of dangers. They had come for help. But would the aliens trust them? The first warning had arrived. The fate of many worlds hung in the balance. The strange warship stayed near the alien planet for days. The sky was full of tension. Every alien watched, the dark shape in the sky with fear and wonder. No one knew what the humans wanted or why they came so close. Deep inside the alien city, messages flew like whispers on the wind. Some aliens spoke in fear. What if they mean to destroy us? What if they are spies looking for our weaknesses? Others said. But some hoped the humans might be friends. Maybe they needed help, or maybe they wanted to warn them about something worse. The Council of Leaders met again. The room was quiet, except for the soft hum of machines and the low voices of the advisors. The eldest leader, known as Elder Rethar, looked serious. "We must learn more. Fear alone cannot guide us." Far away on the warship, the human captain studied his screens. His face was calm, but his eyes were sharp. He was watching the alien world closely. He knew the aliens were afraid. That fear was natural. Humans had a history of being strong and unyielding when faced with danger, but this mission was different. It was not about power. It was about survival. Back on the alien planet, scouts tried again to get closer to the warship. They moved carefully, hoping to find answers without causing trouble. But each time they came near, strange energy fields pushed them away. The warship seemed to protect itself with an invisible shield. Lyra, the young scout who had first seen the ship, was restless. She wanted to know the truth. She asked the council for permission to try a new plan. "Let me send a message," she said. "A simple message, without words. Just a sign to show we mean no harm." The council agreed. Lyra prepared her ship to send a special signal. She thought about the humans, about their strange technology and their unknown ways. She hoped the humans would understand her message. As the signal traveled toward the warship, all eyes turned to the sky. The aliens waited with hope and fear mixed inside their hearts. Minutes passed like hours. Then, a reply came. The warship sent back a symbol, a glowing circle that changed colors slowly. It was beautiful and strange. No one knew what it meant, but it was a sign that the humans were watching and listening. The council held a meeting to discuss the next step. Some said to send a small team of diplomats to the warship. Others feared it was too dangerous, but the council knew they had to try. Communication was the only way to avoid mistakes. Lyra was chosen to lead the team. She felt proud but nervous. This was more than a mission. It was the future of their world. Before she left, Lyra looked at the sky one last time. The warship was like a giant star, shining cold and distant. She wondered what the humans thought of her world, of her people. Were they friendly? Were they cautious? Or were they hiding secrets? As her small ship flew toward the warship, the tension grew. The stars around them seemed to hold their breath. Lyra's hands were steady, but her heart beat fast. She had to stay calm. The fate of two worlds was in her hands. The warship's gates opened slowly, welcoming the small alien ship inside. The light inside was soft but bright. Lyra felt both awe and fear as she entered a new world. Inside, humans moved with purpose. They were different from the aliens she knew, but their faces showed calm and kindness. The captain came forward and smiled gently. "Welcome," he said. "We have much to talk about." Lyra nodded, trying to hide her nervousness. She took a deep breath and said, "We want to understand why you came. We want to find peace." The captain's eyes showed respect. "We come with a warning," he said. "A threat is coming. Something dangerous for all of us. We need to work together." Lyra listened carefully. The words were heavy with meaning. The fear she felt before now changed into something new. Hope. Maybe humans and aliens could be friends after all. Back on the alien planet, news of the meeting spread quickly. Some aliens were happy, others were still afraid. But everyone waited to hear what would happen next. The human warship stayed close like a silent guardian in the sky. Its power was clear, but its purpose was a mystery. The story was only beginning. The real challenge was ahead. Would the aliens trust the humans? Could they work together to face the unknown danger? Only time would tell. The message from the human captain weighed heavily on Lyra's mind as she returned to her world. The threat they spoke of was unknown, but it was clear it was serious. The humans did not come looking for trouble. They came with a warning. But would the aliens listen? Would they understand the urgency in the human words? As Lyra's small ship descended toward Zelvar, she could feel the tension in the air. The planet seemed quieter than usual. Perhaps the fear was growing even more with the news she carried. The council awaited her return, eager to hear what the humans had said. Inside the great hall, the leaders gathered again. Lyra stepped forward and spoke slowly, making sure every word was clear. "The humans say a great danger is coming to this part of the galaxy, something powerful and unknown. They want us to prepare. They want us to work together." Murmurs spread quickly through the room. Some leaders looked doubtful. "How do we know this is true?" one asked. Could this be a trick? A way to control us? Another voice spoke up with hope. If this threat is real, we cannot ignore it. We must listen and be ready. We must learn from the humans. Their warship shows they have strength and knowledge. The debate went on for hours. No clear answer came. Fear and hope mixed in every word. Outside, the warship remained close, watching silently. Lyra felt the weight of responsibility. She wanted to believe the humans, but the unknown was frightening. The aliens had lived in peace for a long time. To think they might need to prepare for a great danger was hard. Meanwhile, the human captain studied his reports carefully. His crew worked quietly but efficiently. They prepared their ship for what might come next. The captain knew that convincing the aliens to trust humans would be difficult. Many believed humans were unpredictable and dangerous, but he hoped his actions would speak louder than words. Back on Zelvar, scientists began examining the data the humans had shared. Strange signals from deep space suggested that something was moving toward their galaxy. No one knew what it was, but the signs were worrying. Lyra joined the scientists and listened to their theories. They spoke of a force so different and so strong that it could change the balance of power in the galaxy forever. The humans called it the Shadow. It was unknown, and it had no name among the aliens yet. The more Lyra learned, the more she understood the seriousness of the situation. She knew that the only chance to survive was to work with the humans. But convincing the leaders was another matter. She decided to visit different parts of Zelvar to speak with people directly. She met farmers, merchants, and soldiers. Some were afraid, some were angry. Many wanted to know the truth. At a small village, Lyra spoke to a group of young aliens. Humans have come to warn us, she told them. They do not want war. They want to prepare. We must listen and learn. The young aliens looked uncertain but curious. They asked questions about humans, their ships, and their strength. Lyra answered as best she could. She told them stories of human courage and kindness, but also of their power. News of the human warship spread across Zelvar like wildfire. Some aliens began to see humans not as enemies, but as possible friends. Others remained fearful, unsure of what to believe. The council finally agreed to send a second delegation to the humans. This time, not scouts, but diplomats. They wanted to talk more deeply, to find out if the humans truly wanted peace and help. Lyra was again chosen to lead this group. She felt proud and nervous. The future of her world, maybe the entire galaxy, depended on what they would discover. As their ship approached the human warship once more, the atmosphere was different. This time, there was hope mixed with fear. The gates opened slowly, and the diplomats entered. Inside, the human captain welcomed them with respect. He shared more information about the Shadow, a mysterious force moving through space, destroying everything in its path. The aliens listened carefully. They saw the truth in the captain's eyes. They realized this was no longer about fear or mistrust. This was about survival. Together, they began to talk about ways to prepare, to share knowledge, to build defenses, and to find allies. It was the start of something new. A fragile friendship formed in the face of the unknown. As the diplomats left the warship, Lyra looked back at the massive human ship. It was still a symbol of power, but now also a symbol of hope. The stars outside twinkled as if watching silently over the beginning of a new chapter for the galaxy. The shadow of the unknown threat hung heavily over the alien world. The meeting between the diplomats and the humans had opened a new chapter, but the path ahead was still uncertain. Back on Zelvar, the council wrestled with the weight of the news. The story spread quickly across every city and village. The humans were not enemies but messengers of a warning, and the threat was real and vast. Lyra felt the growing responsibility settle deeper in her chest. The people of her world were scared, but many also looked to her with hope. She could see it in their eyes, the need for answers, for strength, for unity. The humans' massive warship still hovered above, a silent but constant reminder of the coming storm. Scientists and engineers from many alien species worked day and night sharing their knowledge. The humans had brought advanced technology and ideas, but it was not easy to blend two very different ways of thinking. The aliens had long traditions and ways of doing things that were hard to change. Some leaders resisted, fearing loss of control, or distrustful of human intentions. In the midst of this, Lyra traveled to remote settlements and bustling cities alike, speaking with common people and leaders. She told stories of the humans' courage and wisdom, trying to build trust. "We are not alone," she said. "There is a chance to stand together against what is coming. But we must act now." Her words sparked hope in some, anger in others. Some believed the humans could not be trusted, that their arrival was just the beginning of trouble. Others saw in Lyra's eyes a future where different worlds could work as one. Meanwhile, the human captain held quiet meetings with his crew and the alien leaders who trusted him. He shared maps and data about the threat moving through space, called the Shadow. It was not just a force of destruction. It seemed almost alive, shifting and changing in ways no one fully understood. One night, as the stars twinkled above, Lyra stood on a hill overlooking her city. The human warship was visible in the sky, large and imposing but no longer frightening. It was a symbol of something new, a hope for survival. Suddenly, her communicator beeped. A scientist's voice spoke urgently. "Lyra, we have detected something. The shadow is closer than we thought. It moves faster. We need to prepare immediately." The calm night shattered. Messages flew across the planet. Alerts sounded. The people braced themselves. The council met again, the room filled with tension and urgency. Lyra stood among the leaders. "We must unite now. The time to prepare is no longer tomorrow. It is now. The humans can help us, but we must all stand together." Plans were made quickly. Ships and defenses were prepared. Training began for soldiers and volunteers alike. The aliens and humans worked side by side, learning from each other. The humans shared their knowledge of technology and strategy, while the aliens contributed their experience and resources. Days turned into weeks. The shadow drew nearer, but so did the growing alliance between the different species. It was not perfect. There were still fears and doubts. But there was also courage and determination. One morning, as dawn broke, a sudden burst of light appeared in the far distance of space. The sensors screamed with warnings. The shadow was coming. The alien and human crews stood ready. Their ships gathered like a shield around Zelvar. The unknown was no longer just a distant threat. It was here. Lyra looked at the faces around her, humans and aliens alike. She saw fear, but also hope. They were not alone. Together, they might just survive what was coming. The stars above seemed to hold their breath. The skies over Zelvar darkened as the strange light from the approaching shadow grew closer. The peaceful glow of the stars seemed dimmer now, swallowed by the expanding shadow that stretched across space. The aliens and humans prepared, their worlds converging in a shared mission no one could have imagined before. This was not just a battle of strength. It was a test of trust, courage, and unity. Lyra stood on the bridge of the main command ship, her heart beating fast but steady. Around her, humans and aliens worked together, their faces focused on the screens showing the eyes' advancing threat. The warship that once filled the aliens with fear now stood as a beacon of hope, a symbol of a new alliance forged in urgency. The shadow moved in waves, silent and mysterious, its presence unsettling even the most experienced of commanders. It was not an enemy they had faced before. It did not follow normal rules. Instead, it was like a great shifting force, moving with purpose yet hiding its true nature. No one knew what it wanted or how to stop it, only that it must be stopped. Lyra's mind wandered to the people of Zelvar, families, children, friends, all counting on her and her allies. She remembered her first sight of the human warship, the fear that gripped her, and how that fear slowly changed into hope. Now hope needed action. The humans had shared their knowledge of advanced sensors and shields. Using these, the alien engineers worked feverishly to strengthen the planet's defenses. Teams of technicians from many worlds repaired old ships, built new ones, and prepared stations in orbit. Everyone played a part. But as the shadow moved closer, strange events began to happen. Communications flickered and faded. Sensors showed odd readings that made no sense. Some ships reported seeing shapes that disappeared before they could be identified. It was as if the shadow could bend reality itself. One evening, during a tense briefing, the human captain spoke quietly but firmly. "The shadow is testing us. It wants to see how we respond. It is not just a force, it is a puzzle. We must be clever and patient." Lyra nodded, feeling the weight of those words. They could not simply fight blindly. They had to understand, to adapt, and to trust each other more than ever before. Outside, the stars blinked softly, as if watching silently. In the days that followed, alliances grew stronger. The aliens learned human tactics, while the humans embraced alien technology and culture. They shared meals and stories, building friendships in the shadow of danger. Lyra found herself speaking with a human engineer named Mara, who told her about Earth and the long journey the humans had made to this galaxy. Mara's calm strength and kindness gave Lyra comfort, reminding her that beyond the warship's power was a shared desire for peace. Then, one quiet morning, the sensors picked up a sudden change. The shadow seemed to pause, then split into smaller parts, moving in different directions. It was as if it was confused or distracted. The commanders seized the moment. They sent out scout ships to gather information. Lyra volunteered to lead one team, knowing this was their chance to learn more. As they approached one of the shadow's fragments, the air grew strange. The stars seemed to flicker, and the ship's instruments buzzed with signals. Then, through the mist, shapes appeared, not solid, but like shadows within shadows. They moved slowly, almost curious. Lyra's team stayed calm, their eyes wide with wonder and cautious hope. They realized this was not just a force of destruction. It had a form, a presence that might be understood. The scouts sent back messages with their findings. The council and the human captain listened carefully. Maybe the shadow was not just a threat. Maybe it was something else, a part of the universe they had not yet learned to see. The alliance grew stronger in that moment, not just because they prepared to defend, but because they dared to learn and to hope. As the stars watched, a new chapter began, one of mystery, courage, and the search for understanding in the face of the unknown. The silence in space felt heavier than ever. After days of watching the shadow's strange movements, the Alliance grew restless but determined. Lyra stood quietly on the command ship's observation deck, gazing at the stars beyond the glass. She thought about everything they had faced, the fear, the hope, the new friendships formed across worlds. Now everything seemed to come down to this moment. The shadow had changed. No longer an endless wave of darkness, it now moved with purpose and form. Its shifting shape seemed almost alive, as if it was watching, waiting to see what the aliens and humans would do next. But no one knew if it wanted peace or destruction. The question was, could they find a way to understand it before it was too late? Inside the command center, the council and the human captain gathered around a glowing map of space. The data showed the shadow's movement, but also something new. Small bursts of light appeared inside the dark mass. These bursts were like signals, patterns that hinted at intelligence. Lyra listened carefully as the captain explained, "We believe the shadow is not just a force, but a form of life, something that communicates differently from us. It might be trying to tell us something, or warn us." The room fell silent. To think the greatest threat they faced might also be a mystery to solve filled everyone with a mix of hope and fear. If they could understand it, maybe they could avoid destruction. But if they failed, everything they had worked for would be lost. Determined to find answers, Lyra volunteered to lead a small team to approach the shadow's core. The humans and aliens prepared the best ships they had, fast, shielded, and equipped with the latest sensors. It was a mission filled with risk, but also with the chance for peace. As the ships moved into the shadow's heart, the stars around them seemed to fade. The dark mass was cold and quiet, almost peaceful in its emptiness. The team's sensors picked up strange waves of energy, like whispers in the dark. Suddenly, the ships were surrounded by shifting lights. These lights were not random. They formed patterns, symbols that the humans and aliens worked to decode. It was like a language made of colors and movements. Lyra felt a deep calm wash over her. This was no enemy. This was a being trying to reach out, to communicate across the vastness of space. Hours passed as the team sent messages back and forth, each learning from the other. Slowly, a connection formed. The shadow's signals told a story of a great journey, a being born in the darkness of space, searching for meaning and connection. The humans shared their own stories of discovery and friendship, and the aliens spoke of their ancient traditions and hopes for peace. As the understanding grew, the dark mass began to change again. The shifting shadows softened into patterns of light, forming shapes that looked almost like stars. It was a sign, a greeting, a promise of peace. Back on Zelvar, celebrations erupted. The Alliance had not only survived the threat, but had found a new friend in the most unlikely place. Lyra stood once more on the hill overlooking her city, watching the human warship and the now glowing shadow side by side in the sky. The stars seemed brighter, filled with promise. She thought of the journey, from fear and doubt to trust and friendship. The galaxy was no longer divided by unknown threats, but united by hope and understanding. The story of the humans and aliens was only just beginning. Together, they would face whatever came next, stronger, wiser, and ready. The stars above twinkled softly, as if they knew the future held something amazing.